r/AskReddit. Generally calm people of Reddit. What made you lose your absolute at that time? My grandfather passed away, so I told my boss that I had to take a couple of days off to be with my family. He had the nerve to tell me work was more important than family and threatened to fire me. I went off on him in the middle of the office for a solid 5 minutes before quitting and rushing home. This lady came to the shelter to see the cats. She asked if she could give them treats and I said yes. It's a shelter where most of the cats are free. So gets the bag out. The cats are getting wild with anticipation and she just stood there laughing and tempting them without giving them anything. She looked like she enjoyed their anxiety and her laugh sounded like a crazy person. I lost it. Grabbed the bag out of her hands, gave treats to the cats and asked her to leave. Those cats are already stressed out. Don't give them more anxiety. I lost my when my patient got her pre-authorization for surgery for a large grapefruit-sized pelvic mass denied by BCBS, and when I did a peer-to-peer, the doctor working for the insurance company said I needed to have a psychiatrist rule out mental causes of her pain first. I had to walk away for 30 minutes before seeing another patient because had anyone given me any more lip I might have gotten violent. I lost my when I was late for work because my colleague asked me to cover their shift and gave me the wrong time and it was my fault from the company's perspective. This happened in some club ages ago. I was bouncing around on the dance floor with everybody else and apparently stepped on some dude's foot who had been standing there with his posse of 2 or 3 other guys watching people. I shrugged and apologized, then turned around to leave. Right then somebody smacked me in the back of the head. Not hard, but too hard to ignore. I turned around still calm and said something like, "Look, I'm gonna walk this way. You guys stay here and nothing more needs to happen." Turned around again. Got smacked in the head again. I was very much pissed off at that point. It didn't help that they looked at me all innocent. I couldn't even tell which one of them did it. So I just stuck my finger in the face of the dude whose foot I allegedly stepped on and recommended he don't do it again. Turned around once more, waiting to get smacked in the head again. This time they poured a glass of beer in my back. That's when I completely lost my threw myself around and went straight at the guy. I was in full rage mode. Didn't care what happened next as long as that guy suffered. I could tell by the terrified look on his face he realized he had gone too far. His friends never stepped in to help him. After a while people separated us and that was that. I have no sympathy at all for people who resort to violence for solving their problems but feel no shame for having snapped in that situation. I think I did everything in my power to avoid what eventually happened. So earlier this year, my health insurance got messed up. I started making too much money to qualify for my state's Medicare, so Healthcare Gov requested a notification from NJ to confirm I wasn't on it anymore. So in January, I called them to get said notification. They say yeah, you should get it in a couple weeks. It never comes. Unfortunately I had forgotten about it until Healthcare Gov sends me a message that they are going to raise my insurance costs if I don't get them the message in the next 2 weeks. So I called NJ again and explained to them the situation. They once again claim they are going to send me the notice and don't. So now, after getting an extension from Healthcare Gov about this, I call up NJ once more and attempt to explain the situation, politely requesting the cancellation notice. But the woman on the phone gets an attitude with me saying some stupid like you know this is the cancellation department, right? And I lost my what the is your problem? I don't understand why you can't just send me this letter. What's happening over there? Just look in the file and cancel it. Yes, you. I know this is the cancellation department. I want a notice that it's cancelled. I must have scared it out of her because the next thing she said was, "I'll go get my supervisor who solved the problem in 10 minutes," and I got my cancellation notice 3 days later. My friend is bad with math. I was explaining a thing once. It took 10 minutes. He tells me he doesn't get it. So I sit there and explain this thing more deeply. Took 30 minutes. He's like, takes in-ear headphones out of ear. He was covering it with his hand. "Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening to you. Found this amazing radio recently. I lost my." I worked at a diner with an open kitchen. You can see us and we can see you. I'm the only cook during the lunch rush when I hear a lady shout hey. I look over and a lady sitting in a booth points at me and then does a very condescending come here motion with her finger. I thought something was wrong with her food, so I decide I can run out of the kitchen, leaving 4 orders on the grill, and see what I need to fix. She has no food on her table. She holds her blue soda cup out to me and asks what is this? Excuse me, why is my root beer in a soda cup and not a mug? I don't know, I'm just the great another idiot in this place who doesn't know anything. She then proceeds to chew me out, because I, the cook, do not know why the server gave her root beer in a cup. We have special root beer mugs but the servers couldn't find them. Someone misplaced them. I apologize and head back into the kitchen while she's loudly talking crap about me to the next booth to find that all of my orders are ruined, and more had been coming in. It's already stressful working in a kitchen and that was the last straw. I went in back, started screaming and kicking shit out of the walk-in cooler. When I went back out everyone was quiet and avoided eye contact. Even the lady with the issues still looked pretty mad though. I rushed through the orders and thank God she left without saying anything. I didn't get in trouble though since my manager was serving and had to deal with her as well. He understood. My friend who is usually a chill person had some girl make fun of her brother who was killed and she ended up beating the out of her, smashing her face into the wall, and getting kicked out of our school for it. I was in charge of a rollover trainer once at a military training site. Think of a Humvee on an axle that spins, like a rollover accident. Part of the safety brief before anyone goes in is to empty their pockets of all items. Take any items on belts off. We have rubber items inside to simulate it flying. We do this for safety's sake. Part of the training is we stop the trainer on its side roof, so the participants can get exposure to assisting the other passengers and exit the vehicle safely and quickly. It's been a long ass boring day. It's got, and like all good army training, I am hungover and irritated. All officers, and they aren't listening for. We stop the exercise on the roof for a group, and they all exit except one who can't undo the set belt. I opened the door, and reach in, and placed my hand on a dual-edge 4-inch boot knife. I absolutely lost I saw red, my ears burned and I distinctly remember seeing one of the other instructors' mouth. I chewed out every f***ing officer there, all of who's outranked me, many of whom outranked my commander. Didn't matter, as my position was safety officer. I went on a tirade. I turn around after it was done, and my best friend is recording it on his phone. That showed that clip the rest of the week and for years after him. I miss that every day. Updates. Sadly, that video is long gone. I imagine yes, I am former military, gladly retired. My 7th trip to the DMV when trying to reinstate my license. Every single time they scrutinized my paperwork and always managed to find something wrong and would send me away to fix it. On this 7th trip, they finally resorted to, you have no proof that you ever had a license, despite my piles of paperwork showing my driving record, among other things. I refused to leave the seat and said, you people are monsters. A manager was called. We argued. He said he believed that I had had a license, but there was just no proof, and he couldn't risk accepting my paperwork in case someone checked it. I said I refused to leave the seat until I knew exactly what was needed. Manager said, tell you what, I can contact last state I lived in, and could get a verification that I had had a license there. It would take 3 minutes. That's when I yelled in the DMV, why wasn't that the first thing you said? Anyway, I got my license back. I grew up on a farm and one day several cows decided that since their head could fit through a small hole in a gate then their whole body could fit through a small hole in a gate. This resulted in a broken gate, a cow stuck in the broken gate, several cows roaming freely in a field after escaping through the broken gate, and me absolutely losing. I now work in IT. Cows are dumb. In 6th grade, a group of some 4 kids took monopoly of the back of the bus. A true power move. I always minded my own business and tried to sit away from them. For one, they all didn't understand basic hygiene and smelled even though they were older than me. Anyway, turns out the bus driver was their quiet, retired grandpa, who would never tell them to stop bullying or doing that. So one time they had spitting war, as in they spit across the seats at each other as they jump seats for cover. At one point I was the seat in the middle, and a giant wad of their disgusting spit hit me square in my face. I then proceeded to take my Pearson history book, one of those big heavy hardcover textbooks, and smashed him over the head with it. Granted, this was me telling them to stop their nonsense several times. The spitting stopped after that. Anyway, the book cover cracked and had to pay at the end of the year, but I regret nothing. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, drop a like and subscribe. Please check out more of our videos or our playlist. It is perfect for when you want background noise or to put on when you are falling asleep. Once again, thank you and have a great day.